Hello and welcome back to another video in the Complete Web Dev series. In this chapter, what we're doing is building a content management system using object-oriented programming and PHP. So we're just stepping up our PHP game and learning object-oriented programming as we go. So admittedly, this project is pretty advanced to just throw in for where we're at. So you guys just did a procedural PHP, and then we learned a little bit more about object-oriented programming, and then we're building this project, and it is a little bit advanced. I admit that. However, I think you can get it. I'm gonna keep going very slow through this project so that you can understand each thing as we go. So make sure you're following along and typing along and everything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my screen. If you're enjoying this, please comment, like, and subscribe. I noticed the other day when I was looking at my YouTube analytics that 90% of my viewers are not subscribed, and that kind of blows my mind. So if you guys would, it would help me out. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new branch to work on, and this is video 12. So I'm just going to type git checkout -b v12, and now I've switched to a new branch called v12. I'm going to go ahead and just immediately do a git push set upstream origin v12 to add this to my branches on the remote in GitHub. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and I'll just hit clear here, and we're going to jump over the code. Now, what we want to do today in this video is we're going to go ahead and start working on our layout. And what I'd like to do is just add our main menu across the top here. And for that, what we're going to do is we're going to use Bootstrap's navbar. So go ahead and go to getbootstrap.com. In the last video, we added this to our layout, so we have a Bootstrap available to us. Let's go ahead and click Docs, and then go down to Components here. And inside the Components, go ahead and look for Navbar. And we're going to scroll down on the Navbar list here until we find the Navbar that is, we want a drop-down list, and we want, we will do a, let's see. So yes, I want to do this responsive behavior so that it will, on a small screen, it will go ahead and respond to that. So go ahead and go down to, let's see. Yeah, I like this one here. So go to the, with the brand shown on the left and a toggler on the right, we're looking for this. So go ahead and copy that to your clipboard. I'm on Linux, so I think I'm just gonna go ahead and copy it like this. And then inside here, let's go ahead and go to our layouts. And in our layouts, we want to create a new folder. No, not in our layouts, I'm sorry, in our views. Inside of our views, create a new folder called partials. Now, partials are going to be used where we can use them in multiple places, and so that will be partials. So right click on partials and add a new file, and let's just call this main menu.php. All right. And then what we're going to do is just paste inside this main menu.php in the partials. Just go ahead and paste that nav code that we got from Bootstrap directly here. We're going to go back and fix this up, but for now, just go ahead and do this. Let's make sure we can get this working. The other thing that we need to do is put this into our layout. Let me look at my how I did that in my I built all this out ahead of time just to make sure I knew what I was going to teach you guys, and I just want to remember how I did that. And I did it with a partial. Now the partial we haven't, yeah, okay, so the partial is a method on the view that we haven't created yet. So the last video we created all these methods in our view class. We're going to create one more method in our view class called partial. So go ahead and create a new public function and call it partial here. and it's going to take a parameter called path. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create our full path to the partial here, and it's going to be proot, and then we're going to concatenate on our directory separator, and then it's going to be app, and we'll concatenate on our directory separator, and we'll concatenate on views, directory separator, and then partials. I'm not sure I want to put the partials there. Let's not do that. Let's just go to views, and then we'll concatenate on our directory separator, and then we're going to concatenate on our path, and this path will be what's passed in. So we'll pass the word partial in. We could do it the other way, but I think this will give us the most flexibility long term to do it like this. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to say if file exists full path, then we want to simply include that full path. All right, so that's all we need to do here. We're going to make sure it works here. So what we're going to do is go to your layout and click on default PHP. And what we want to do is inside the body, right up here at the top, above our container, because we want this to have no padding or anything. It's going to extend all the way to the edges of the screen. Right here at the top of our body, go ahead and open some PHP tags and type this partial. And we can close those PHP tags, and then we're going to pass in a string, and our string is going to be partials, because that's the name of this directory we created, / main menu. Okay, and that will include this menu at the top of our layout. So we could save that, and let's go back to the browser and refresh, and now you can see we have this menu bar that goes all the way to the top. Now if I inspect this, if I inspect this and we put this down to a mobile size here, what should happen with this is you see how the nav bar becomes a mobile menu with our brand is still there, and we can click this and it will expand down, which for some reason isn't working. Why isn't that working? All right, well, we'll figure that out and fix that as well. So let's go ahead now and let's continue on working on this menu. In order to do that, what we're gonna do is let's go back and just make some decisions about style first. So I think what I'd like to do is let's give this a variation, a color variation, and let's make it a dark menu. So they have these 3 different variations here. So all we have to do is grab the class here, this navbar dark and bg dark. So I'm going to grab that and copy that. And if we go back to our code in the main menu here, right here we have this navbar. Just go ahead, and they put navbar light and bg light. Let's just get rid of navbar light and bg light and paste in navbar dark and bg dark. And when we save that and go back and refresh now, we should have a dark menu here at the top of the screen. Okay, now that we have that, excuse me, now that we have that, what I'd like to do is just get rid of some of this stuff we're not going to need here in the nav bar, and we are going to do some drop down menus, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do here is, first and foremost, let's go ahead and in our navbar brand right here, let's go ahead and put our brand. For me, this is going to be free skills. So let me go back and refresh that, and so that puts that brand right here, which will take us to the home page. And so the home page, when they click that, for us, what we want to be able to do here is we want to actually we want to echo out the root of the project here. And if I refresh and then I click that, so if we go to, let's say, blog index, which is going to look like the same page. If I click this, it's going to take us to our home page, but it's going to leave this subdirectory because we use that root. We use the root constant here, so that allows us to do that. We wouldn't want to use proot because proot is going to be the full path of the server, and so from the perspective of the front end, we don't want to do that. Okay. The other thing that we want to be able to do here is this data BS target, bootstrap target. Let's change that to the ID of our class, and I'm just gonna put this at main menu, and I'm gonna do the same thing here in this ID. So look at the div here that has a navbar collapse, and just set that to main menu. Okay, so let's save that, refresh. I shouldn't really do anything right now, but let's get rid of a couple things. One thing is we don't need this nav item that's disabled. We can get rid of that. We don't want this form here, so we can get rid of that whole form. We have a couple links here. For now, let's see, I'm okay with leaving these links, but the home one, you know, home is pretty much the same as our brand thing, so we don't actually need that home one either, so let's get rid of that. Okay, so that that will narrow down this to just the basics of our thing here. We have an example link. I'm gonna go ahead and add an example drop down and make sure that works. Let's go back to navbar and bootstrap, and let's go ahead and look through these examples and find a navbar that has a drop down. So here's one that with a drop down link. In order to do that, we need to add this whole div li right here that has the nav item drop down, and then it has inside of that, it has the link, and then it has another ul inside that handles the actual drop down. So we're going to grab that whole piece right there. So make sure you're getting just the right stuff. So I'm going to leave that highlighted just for a second so that you can grab the right drop down here. And again, on the page, we are just at the spot that has a drop down link in the nav bar as an example. So I'm going to right click on that and copy that. And then what should happen is underneath this li, we're going to paste that. And I'm going to go ahead and put a comment here that this is a drop down example. Okay, and that way, okay, that's not working. So something must be wrong with our JavaScript here on our site. And so let me see if I can figure out what's going on there. Looks like we have the JavaScript loading. Might take me a moment here to understand why we're not getting this to work. Let's make sure we're also getting, let's go back here and let's go to the getting started section, and let's see, this was the CSS. So it's telling us that we got to use popper. I'm pretty sure we used this right here. Let's look at our deal here. Go to default.php. Okay, we have jQuery and Bootstrap. Dang it. So we have jQuery and Bootstrap, and theirs has got popper and Bootstrap. So I'm not sure where we got that download code from. So instead, what we're going to do is let's just grab the whole bundle here. So in the JavaScript section here, go ahead and grab this Bootstrap bundle. So we'll copy that to the clipboard, and then go back here to our default. And let's just grab these two script tags here and delete those, and we'll paste the full Bootstrap. Oh, this is 5.1. Crap. Let me get rid of that as well. Let's go back and change this up here to Bootstrap 4.6. That's probably why it looks different. Let's go ahead and I'm pretty sure this is jQuery and Bootstrap. Let's just copy this one with the separate files here, and we will paste those right here. Now I'm going to fix my indentation here. We'll save that. Let's go back here and refresh, and that is still not working. You know what? I bet I had the wrong. I had version 5 selected up here, so make sure you have version 4.6. Let's go back. This is annoying. Let's go back to the documentation, components, and then we'll go to the navbar. This is what development's all about, guys, making mistakes and screwing up. So I'm even screwing up here, and it's probably just because I had the wrong thing selected. So let's go ahead. Let's see. This one here has a drop down. You know, this one actually has pretty much everything we need. So let's go ahead and just grab this one here that has the nav bar, some links, and a drop down. And I'm just going to copy that, and we're going to start over a little bit. Go back to the main menu.php, select everything and paste that, hit save, and then let's just go back and see now if we refresh. Yeah, our drop down's working now. So I must have grabbed some stuff from Bootstrap 5. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go ahead and fix that and make it a dark menu. And that is still just the same class, navbar dark and bg dark. So I'm gonna copy that, and we'll go back and we'll replace the navbar light and bg light with the dark theme. And then let's see. There we go. Okay, and let's go ahead and put this down to a smaller screen. Okay, now that's all working. Yeah, I must have just copied the wrong stuff from Bootstrap 5. So we're in better shape now. But we could still get rid of some of this stuff that they have here. Like we don't need the home. We'll leave the home for now because it does have the active class to show us how to make those active. So we'll leave that for now. And then go down and we can get rid of a couple of these extra links here. And then for the, let's see, brand, I'll put my brand here, free skills, and then the only other thing we needed to change here is this href on this. And for now, let's just echo out our PHP root constant that we created in the index file. All right, we should be good to go now. There we go, free skills, home, and we have an example drop-down link here that we can work with. What we're gonna be doing with these drop-downs is for every author or every category that we have, we're gonna have categories and authors as menu items, and then you can click or filter down by the category of articles you wanna see or the author. So that's what we're gonna do there. So you can see now that we have this main menu and we have this area here, we could start actually building out our actual pages on our site. And so I think what we're going to do is kind of stop here, since that took me a little longer than I was hoping to get this right. So that gets us our full menu. and we've included that menu with this partial here in our layout. And then we added in our view, we had to add this partial method here to make that work, which basically we just set up a path inside the views, and it just includes this. So it's not really that big of a deal. It's basically just an include. So you could have done this without this, but I think this creates a little bit of a nicer way to use this by typing this partial and then just type the path to the file that you want to include, and it'll just include it wherever you put it. So it's a little bit different than the content. This just includes a file. So we can use this main menu in any layout we want now in multiple places. So that's kind of the beauty of doing this. All right, well, we're going to leave it off there. So let's jump over here and make sure we commit everything. So if I do a git status, you can see that I've added a few things here. So those are unstaged. To stage them, we're going to do git add, and instead of typing each individual file we want to stage, we can just use the period, and that will stage all of them. And if I do a git status again, you can see that these are ready to be committed. So I'm going to do a git commit -m to add a commit message with it, and we're going to put our main menu right here. And then we're going to do a git push. All right, so if you guys need to, you can look at my code from V12 branch, and there'll be a link in the description for the GitHub repository. So where I'm leaving off is the V12 branch at the end of this video. I'm going to go ahead and git checkout main though, and then I'm going to merge V12 into main and push main back up. All right, well, that's it for this episode. In the next episode, I think we're going to create or start creating our login page, and we're probably not 100% sure what we want to do there. I think we may get the beginnings of our login page going, but I think at some point we need to start writing some very complicated, one more complicated class to deal with managing our database. So inserting and deleting and finding information from our database. We're going to create a class to do that with, to deal with our database directly, and then we're going to create a model class so that we can create a model basically for each table in our database and deal directly with that table. All right, well, I will see you guys there.